Welcome to another edition of the Noles podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me, in my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. I haven't really addressed some of the people out there that just love to hate and troll, just period. But it doesn't matter to me what you do in terms of trying to get my stuff, sanctioned by YouTube. I don't really cuss on this podcast. I really don't talk about anything controversial. So I'm not trying to be famous. It's just a hobby, man. I just love Florida State football and I love talking about it. And I know you just got some people out there that just can't stand to see somebody just getting a little bit of traction and positivity going with something. And I mean, it's pathetic. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I know I'm a couple of weeks late on this, but we got a tackle from South Carolina. I don't know nothing about him, but he has to be better than the tackles that we have on the roster currently. So with him and the addition of the dude from Charlotte and Lyles and Gibbons, I mean, you got offensive line might be a strength this season. Because the only question mark to me was you can't sit here and sell me on Robert Scott. You can't sit here and sell me on Darius Washington. I just, you skated by with them last season. And you have to get better at that position. So I think through high school recruiting and the transfer portal and just guys that were already on that roster, I think you've made the offensive line, possibly a strength. I really feel like the offensive line is going to dictate how our season goes. If we can run the football and put up points, we might win 7-8 games. If we can't, run the football and put up points, we're probably looking at 4-8, 5-7 again. So I just can't emphasize enough what it means to, get off to a great start against Duquesne. I know, everybody thinks that's going to be a layup game, but, we could win the game 42-7 and just look awful. So to me, it's just going out there in that first game and looking crisp, just looking sharp, just, executing at a high level, special teams looking good, coverage teams, return teams, special teams has to be a point of emphasis this season. I don't think you can, go out there half-stepping on special teams this year because, special teams cost you a couple of games last season. But, I mean, getting back to the offensive line, so you got a good group now. So now it's the best player at each position. I don't like the philosophy of just putting the best five out there because the best five, doesn't necessarily mean that they can play tackle. A guy that's a guard can play tackle, but you're putting him at another position because he's better than the other guy at his position, if that makes sense. So it's just like if you got two really good guards but your tackle isn't that good. You put that other guard at tackle, but he doesn't play tackle well, but he's better than the tackle. You see what I'm saying? And I don't like that philosophy. But, I think the 4 guys that you've added through the transfer portal, first and foremost, give Alex Atkins his just due, man. He's basically overhauled this offensive line in the basically 2 seasons that he's been here, and he's been able to bring in, some quality recruits, some quality transfers, and you just got to give him credit. So I think it was very smart of Mike Norvell to make him the offensive coordinator. I don't know if he's actually going to be calling plays, but we'll see. Just got to come out the gate strong, man. And like I said on a couple episodes ago, the Jacksonville State thing, loss, I'm still not over that. I'll never forget that game. Like, it was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing that we didn't come there. We didn't come in there and just destroy them. Even with Mackenzie Milton at quarterback, which I just thought was just a horrible, horrible experiment. But we can't come out here half-stepping against nobody. We don't have that luxury. We're not Florida State from 8 years ago, 9 years ago. We're not that team. 10 years ago, even 2012. We're not that team. We don't have that type of talent. Can we get there? Yes, we can get there. But it's got to have everybody on the same page. The coaches have to make great decisions. And, the players got to want to be better. Then I think a great season this year to me would be 8-4. I think you can beat LSU, but you probably won't beat LSU. You're probably not going to beat Clemson. You're probably not going to beat Miami. You're probably not going to beat the Florida Gators. Okay? And Louisiana ain't going to be a walk in the park either. Because remember, they're coming off of 13-1 season. Every other game, I feel like you're going to be in it. History, again, you give Jordan Travis time to throw. He can make all the throws. His arm strength is not in question. So I would really love I would just love to see this guy behind an actual functional to good to great offensive line. I would love to see that. So if this kid from South Carolina, the tackle, is going to probably be a starter, I don't know who's going to be at the other tackle spot. I think you just let, Armella and Willis and I forget the other dude that's 6'7" from Alabama. He's actually from Alabama, the state, not the school. I can't think of his name. But I think, he's the dude from South Carolina is probably going to play left tackle. And they'll probably have somebody on the roster that, I don't know. I just want to see a good to great offense. I just want to see good to great offensive line play. Then I think that we can start talking about 8-4, 9-3. It's going to be very interesting to see how Florida State uses Amari Gaynor this upcoming season, because to me, he's a great blitzer. He's a pretty good tackler, but he doesn't play coverage well. And I just want to see how they're going to use him. Obviously, Deloach and Tatum Bethune are going to be the starters, because they're the best, they're the best coverage, tackle, all around linebackers on the team, those two guys. It's going to be interesting to see how Graham fits in there. What are they going to do with Lundy? I read somewhere that he lost 25 pounds. So I was saying that at the end of last season. I thought he was too heavy out there. He was 260 pounds. He was just too heavy out there. He couldn't drop back in his zones. So again, you have to give this coaching staff credit, and I'm going to give credit where credit is due. They've done a great job of, using the transfer portal to address weaknesses on this team. But I don't think you can go into every offseason and depend on the transfer portal. I just don't think it's sustainable, because you're already hearing talks about putting guardrails up for the transfer portal, which I don't think it should be any guardrails. If a kid commits to a program and, he can't get on the field, he should have the option to leave immediately and be eligible to go to another school and be eligible immediately. That's just my opinion. Florida State, we've lost some guys, and it hurts, but hey, we move on. College football is just a money-making sport now. It's always been a money-making sport, but it's more obvious now. One thing I'll never do on this podcast is count somebody else's money. And I think a lot of your big time, talking heads and analysts, they take their job a little too seriously, man. You know what I'm saying? It's at the end of the day, it's a game. It's sports. It's not life and death. And you just, talking heads and analysts coming at these athletes like it's just life and death. If someone doesn't want to put something in their body, that's their choice. Okay, but it's not my place. It's not anybody else's place to say, okay, they should be subject to whatever discipline because they don't want to put whatever in their bodies. And, just listening to these idiots on TV, man, it baffles the mind. Who are you to say that XYZ shouldn't get whatever money, that they can get? Why are you just gonna come on national TV and undercut a person like that? I could never do that. Now, I could say, okay, this person is selfish. They're not looking out for the team, blah, blah, blah. I'll do that. But to sit here and talk about another person's money, I can't do that, man. That's just going too far. This person could have a wife, a family, and you taking money away from them. So that's the part I don't like. But when it's a black man talking about another black man, nobody cares. But if it was a white guy talking about a black guy or vice versa, then, you would have a little bit more, sensitivity and opinions towards it. But whatever, man. Arch Manning goes to Texas. I'm really waiting to see if he's getting an NIL deal. If you listen to this podcast for any amount of time, I've been waiting on this. I've been waiting for NIL terms to come out. I don't care who his uncles are. I don't care who his dad is. I don't care who his granddad is. This, if you have an opportunity as a man to have your own money, you gonna take it. So I know he got paid. He probably hasn't gotten paid yet because he's still in high school. But when he gets to Texas, he's going to get paid. And they might have sent him some money right now. I've never seen the kid play. I don't know anything about him other than his family lineage. So I don't know what he's going to be, man. But I know he got paid. And I don't have a problem with it, but it's not going to be public. If he does get an NIL deal, it's not going to be public. I promise you that. You'll never know. And that's by design. But, if Arch Manning was a black dude and he got paid, I guarantee you would hear about it. When your boy Travis Hunter allegedly got paid, it was, what I'm saying? You would have thought the world was coming to an end. And it's just a double standard. Because I guarantee you, I'm not a racist, but I just speak facts. If the majority of the players in the NIL were white and they were getting paid, this wouldn't be an issue. Well, because you got some brothers in there getting a little bit of chump change, it's breaking news. It's we got to put guardrails up. You know how this thing go, man. And again, I'm not one to throw out, oh, hey, I'm black, I'm a victim. No, I'm not. I make my own way. I always have, always will. But you gotta look at the facts. You gotta look white. You gotta look at stuff that's right in front of your face, and acknowledge it for what it is. And you got a lot of people in this country that are in denial about a lot of things pertaining to black and white. But I don't use that as an excuse for anything. If you don't want, if I go apply for a job and the guy is white and he don't want to hire me because I'm black, I'm cool with that. Why? I don't care. It's your business. You run it how you want to run it. But on the flip side, if I own a business and I don't want to hire you because you're white, what's the problem? It's a two-way street. So, and I'm not saying I'm like that, because I'm not. I'm not. I don't have any problems with white people, or any other race. But I just, racism in this country is just, it's crazy. This country was built on racism. It's one of the founding blocks of this country. And for people just to walk around and act like it doesn't exist, I got a problem with that. And, I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but the NIL thing, it has a racial element to it. Okay? I mean, let's just call it what it is. So, Florida State, they're having their last recruiting weekend, or had their last recruiting weekend. Like I told you guys, if you're coming here to get recruiting news, this probably ain't the podcast for you, because like I said, I'm older and I just don't feel comfortable talking about recruits. I've said how I break down recruiting time and time again. I wait for the kid to sign, get him on campus. I got to see him play. Then I'll give you my opinion on him. I'm not going on YouTube and looking at some high school tape. I'm not. I'm sorry. That's just not what my podcast is built around. My podcast is built around Florida State football game day and what we can do to improve on game day. That's pretty much what I talk about. Okay. So that's it. I think early on I tried to do that and I didn't like it. I tried to come on here and try to break news and stuff. I just look stupid because I'm getting my information from somebody else. And it's just like I look crazy trying to do that. So I just talk about the team, how we can improve, the coaching staff, decisions that they make in games. And that's pretty much it. I think with the additions that we've made on the offensive line, okay, in the last several weeks, I really think that 8-4 is a possibility now. Because to me, but it's really on Alex Atkins to find the right combination of offensive linemen that can gel together for 12 games, and hopefully we can do something special. You know what I'm saying? And give Jordan Travis time to throw, because he can make all the throws. Arm strength is not an issue. Okay? And like I said, I would love to see him make that gigantic leap this season to one of the top quarterbacks in this country. So, I mean, with the new offensive linemen that have been added to this roster, I don't know what we're going to be expecting as far as I'm going to put it out there again. I'm just going to say 8-4. That's what I'm expecting. 8-4. I think LSU, Clemson, Florida, and Miami are the games that we're going to lose. I think every other game we got a shot. I think we got at least a 50-50 shot in every other game. Louisiana is going to be a tough game too. They're not going to be, that's not a cupcake game. They went 13-1 last season. They are for real. It's kind of hard for me as a diehard Florida State fan to look at some of the film from years past, because I just see how good we used to be, and just the standard of excellence that we used to have, and we're trying to get back to that. And just, every program has power brokers. Every program has, boosters, some more influential than others. And, that's the way college football has been for a long time. And I hate it. I hate to keep going back to Jimbo, but what if they would have just listened to Jimbo and just did what he asked? How better off would this program be? We've had to go through 6 years of sucking because of idiot boosters. So, we got this new athletic director, man. We don't know what he's going to do. He didn't hire Mike Norvell, so we don't know how short of a leash Mike Norvell has. Personally, I give Mike Norvell a pass on the COVID year. I think last year was, just a work in progress type team. We didn't get out to the best start. We lost to Jacksonville State. And then we kind of got going towards the end. Well, you know, this season, I think we got to get out the gate fast. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say Duquesne is a 100% lock. I don't know. I don't know which Florida State team is going to show up for that game. Because you lost to Jacksonville State, so you really can't afford to go out here and think that this is just going to be a gimme type win. You're not in that position. You have to go out here and take this game seriously like it means something. You have to reassure the fans that, you know, we are here to play football. We love football. And, you know, then the week after that, you got LSU in New Orleans. I mean, a big game if there ever was a big game. So I'm anxious to see. I'm really anxious to see what type of team we're gonna have. I'm anxious. I'm really anxious to see the offensive line. I'm really anxious to see special teams. I'm really anxious to see Jordan Travis. You know, what has he done in the offseason to become a better quarterback? I mean, can he stand in the pocket on a consistent basis and deliver money passes and make this thing go? I think the defense is going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be not as good as last season because you probably lost, to me, one of the best defensive players in the NFL draft this past April in Jermaine Johnson. So, you know, we're about 2 months away, almost, from kickoff, you know, and I'm very anxious to see. A little over 2 months. So, I mean, hopefully we can get this thing rolling back in the right direction. I mean, I look at, you know, Golden State, man. You know, if there ever was a model to follow to become a great organization, that's the model. And, you know, when Bobby Bowden was running this thing in the 90s, that was the model that we had. So, you know, from top to bottom, you're running a first-class organization. So I just hope Norvell can get to that point. I hope he can find his guys at every position and get Florida State back on top. That's what we want. AC's top 5 ACC champs in contention for national championships. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate the support. The podcast is available on all podcast platforms. It's available on YouTube. As always,